Today I'll be giving my thoughts on the Intamin Giga Splash, LSM Vertical Coaster, Ultra Splash, and Hot Racer, and discussing how successful they could possibly be.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 8.
Hey guys, and welcome to 808 Coaster Life. If you're new to this channel and you love roller coasters and other theme park related stuff, please consider subscribing for quality coaster entertainment every 1 to 2 weeks. First of all, yes, I am late to this, I admit it, but I wanted to share my thoughts on this because it's too interesting to pass up on. Also, happy early National Roller Coaster Day to all of the coaster enthusiasts out there. As of when this video was posted, National Roller Coaster Day is tomorrow. On July 23rd, 2020, Intamin gave out more details on 4 of their concepts with the intention of preparing for IAAPA Virtual Expo in Asia. In this video, I'll explain the facts we know so far about the Giga Splash, LSM Vertical Coaster, Ultra Splash, and Hot Racer. I'll give my thoughts on these concepts and discuss how successful they could be. But these new Intamin concepts leave me with a lot of questions. Let's start with the Giga Splash. The Giga Splash, which may or may not be a coaster, is Intamin's take on the extreme shoot-the-chute ride. They have tried this before with Perilous Plunge at Knott's Berry Farm and Pilgrim's Plunge at Holiday World, but those rides were very unreliable. This ride will feature a 285-degree panoramic elevator lift up to around 131 feet. aka not a giga. It has an 87-degree drop and reaches speeds up to 62 miles per hour. It features 24 riders per train with theater-style seating so that every row has a good view of the drop. You first go through a water section with interactive elements before going up an elevator lift that rotates, giving you a panoramic view. Doesn't this remind you of another ride? Well, maybe not at first glance, but this upcoming sequence of elements is very similar to Super Splash at Plopsaland de Pain, which is a mock ride that lifts you up a rotating elevator lift and drops into an airtime hill. But unlike Super Splash, the lift is outdoors, taking more advantage of the rotating feature. You go down an 87-degree drop. This could be the best drop on a water ride because of how steep it is. You go into a bunny hop that hits an impressive -1 Gs into a splashdown. I could see this ride being more intense than the average water coaster. This is also probably the most original of the 4 new concepts. I could see this model taking off because it's a fresh and attractive take on the shoot-the-chute ride. If parks have the money and the land, I could see them replacing their traditional shoot-the-chute rides with these. But it needs to be at least more reliable than their previous versions. If this ride ends up being unreliable, I cannot tell how successful it'll be. But I'm pretty confident that they're able to pull this off. The LSM Vertical Coaster is Intamin's second take on a compact multi-launch coaster. It features 12 riders per train and reaches speeds up to around 64 miles per hour. Intamin's claiming this as the world's most compact triple launch coaster, which is pretty impressive. But will the price justify it? After doing a swing launch section, the ride goes into the world's first upside down launch. When I saw this, my first thought was, wait, this isn't actually upside down. But I'm assuming that it's tilted at least 135 degrees, making it closer to fully upside down than vertical. It still looks to provide a weird sensation, but I wonder how a fully upside down launch would feel. It wouldn't be exactly 180 because that might lead to problems, but more or less might be good. The ride's first inversion is the world's first torpedo dive, which is essentially an Iʻll combined with a vertical downward spiral. This element looks to provide some nice hang time and whip in the back row. You get crushed by positive Gs before going into the world's first zigzag loop. At first glance, it does look like a non-inverting loop, but it actually inverts. I think the zigzag refers to the banking that happens before and after the actual inversion. I'm not sure how it'll feel, but I know one thing. It's twisty. When I saw these concepts for the first time, I was initially most impressed by the new elements. With each recent Intamin coaster reveal, I'm surprised at how creative Intamin get when it comes to elements. Intamin also claims that this ride can be a single or double cycle. Zombie Ride at Bosque Mágico looks insane because it has a double cycle, but this leads me to wonder, can Intamin run multiple trains? They're not marketing it, but I'm sure that if a park wants to run multiple trains, Intamin will come up with a solution since they are a very flexible manufacturer. It's pretty obvious that this is Intamin's take on the premier ride Skyrocket 2. Personally, I would prefer the Skyrocket 2s with lap bars, that's very important, over the Intamin LSM Vertical Coaster because those have some awesome airtime moments that the Vertical Coaster seems to lack, but they're pretty close. If you want to see a concept I made on a Premier Rides extended Skyrocket 2, Check out the card up there. I know that the Vertical Coaster will offer a great ride experience because of the ride's forces and comfortable over-the-head lap bars. If this coaster is reliable and it sells at a cheaper price than the competition, I could see this model becoming very successful and an appealing option for smaller parks. I think many coaster fans will agree that the Ultra Splash was probably the most underwhelming announcement of the four. It has a height of around 121 feet, around 1,722 feet of track, 90-degree drops, and reaches speeds up to around 58 miles per hour. Intamin basically remade the Mach ride's Power Splash, but with slight modifications and a single rail track. I'm surprised at how little supports are required for this ride. The Mach Power Splash has a lot of beams going up behind the two spikes, but the Ultra Splash has only one fat support near the bottom of each spike. Can the structure support itself? Like if you look at the shot, this does not look real. I could imagine that because this uses a single rail track, it could possibly be a little smoother than the Mach Power Splash, but it depends on how Intamin executes it. Also, if you look at the track, is that line in the middle significant at all? Or is that just an animation error? Intamin claims that this ride has a high-capacity single-station operation. Notice how they didn't say single-train operation, so I'll assume that this is also capable of running two trains via a turntable like on Pulsar at Walibi, Belgium. Even if it's not original, the ride nevertheless looks very fun. It'll be interesting for sure seeing which manufacturer will a park choose for this type of coaster. The most interesting of the bunch, in my opinion, is the Hot Racer. There's a lot to talk about here, so I'm not going to go into specific stats, but I will examine the layout. This is Intamin's take on an RMC Raptor. However, I think there are enough modifications to this where it's not a total knockoff. Really, the only things that are the same between the two models is the fact that it's a single rail coaster and the single file seating. The Hot Racer has a rounded bottom, it uses Intamin's very open over-the-head lap bars, and the layouts are very different from the Raptors. Intamin's pulling a Vekoma in that they showed 3 pre-made layouts. First is Infinity. This is the world's most compact dueling coaster, which is kinda cool. I guess dueling coasters take up a lot of space, so that's always good. Apparently this has the world's first double 360 versus S-hump. I'm guessing this is where two corkscrew and S-hump interactions are right next to each other, as you could see here. It seems like this layout focuses more on intensity than airtime. There's also some moments where you'll get some laterals. This is probably the weakest of the three, but that's probably because they have to fit in such a compact space. Next is Overdrive. This is a single-track multi-launch coaster. This coaster will feature the world's first wall ride dive, which is basically a wave turn that behaves like a dive loop at the end. I think that element will provide nice sideways airtime and possibly hang time, which will be enhanced by the restraints. This looks to be the most intense of the three layouts. The airtime here looks insane, and this turn looks very forceful. Also, is that a JoJo roll? If you look closely, you'll see that it rolls out of the station into a JoJo roll. That's pretty insane. I think this ride is the best out of the three layouts because of its intensity. Finally, we have Autodrome. This is a Mobius Loop multi-launch coaster in the style of West Coast Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride has the most dueling moments on a coaster, 20. That's impressive. This looks to feature some basic inversions, a few nice airtime moments, a high five element, and a twisty section. I think like West Coast Racers, this ride is going to be more focused on the fun factor than intensity. It certainly looks very fun. It's also a more well-rounded coaster than the other two. These trains see 8 to 9 riders per train, so it's not the best for capacity, but I'm sure it'll be improved because most of these are dueling coasters. I could see this model being a perfect fit at Ferrari Land. Not Ferrari World because they already have a racing coaster. It would be different from any other coaster in the park. Some parks like Energylandia and the Walibi parks already previously worked with both Intamin and RMC, so if they want a single rail coaster, it'll be very interesting seeing which manufacturer they will go with. I bet this model will make RMC step up their game a little bit in order to compete. Especially when it comes to restraints, the Intamin over-the-head lap bars win against those vest restraints any day. I don't see any park in the US getting a Hot Racer anytime soon because RMC would probably offer a cheaper option. If you want to know what you can expect from Jersey Devil Coaster, check out the card up there. But I think the first one would probably go to a park in China. If I were to predict where the first installations will go, I would say it would be a park that has a good relationship with Intamin, and then maybe after the first of its kind is installed, other parks will take it into consideration. Like I mentioned earlier, the Intamin Hot Racer would be a great fit at Ferrari Land. If Universal were to build a new theme park, they could maybe build a Giga Splash themed to Jurassic Park or World. There are also rumors that the dueling coaster coming to Epic Universe would be an Intamin hot racer, although I don't know how likely that'll be. Jura's Summerland has built a lot of Intamins before, so I could see them getting an Ultra Splash because it's different enough from the water coaster they already have, and they could get the Vertical Coaster or the hot racer as their large-scale launch coaster. SeaWorld is pretty saturated on launch coasters and water coasters, but I could see SeaWorld San Antonio getting a vertical coaster. Since Intamin was preparing these concepts for IAAPA Virtual Expo Asia, it is a possibility that the first installations will be in Asia. I think it was a very smart move of Intamin to supply the demand. If they can up their reliability and offer them at a similar if not cheaper price than the competition, we could see these models becoming very successful. The future of the industry is very uncertain due to the global pandemic, but once things start picking back up again, there will be a lot of competition on who makes the better version of a specific type of coaster. So let me know down in the comments your thoughts on the 4 new Intamin concepts, and maybe we can have a discussion. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by leaving a like on this video. And if you're new to this channel and you love roller coasters and other theme park related stuff, please consider subscribing for quality coaster entertainment every 1 to 2 weeks. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.